Hello, how you guys doing? What's going on? Welcome to the Messy Sweet Spot. And I'm so sorry I'm late. Listen, I am big late. I mean late. Okay? Listen, I apologize. What was I doing? What made me so late? I really don't even want to tell y'all, okay? I just was not paying attention. I was doing other things. And I was looking at the clock and I said, oh my goodness, it's 5 o'clock. And I set this thing for 5:05. Man, I didn't even wear the wig that I wanted to wear. I just had to throw this on and just come up here. The outfit I have, I just threw some on. Okay. At first, I did try another unit, a hair unit, but I didn't like it. So I was like, I don't have the time to be picky because I'm very picky. It takes me forever to make a decision. So that's part of me being late. And then I had to get the notes of Diddy and Cassie and everything that's going on today. So please forgive me for being late. Okay. It's no excuse. And I take full accountability for being late. Okay. I was not manipulated. Um, it was on me. I take full accountability. All right. And that's something that a lot of people cannot take in this day and age, accountability. But I think I've always taken accountability. I've apologized plenty of times when I was wrong. All right. So let's get on into it. How you guys doing? I'm glad that you guys are here. Yes, I am. All right. So I have to go over here to look. Those hair clips look like horns. Do it. Do you like the hair clips? I guess people are saying looks like horns. Well, I guess I'm giving Mean Girl. Okay. They're hair clips. Okay. I promise you, it's nothing evil. They're just hair clips. Okay. Thank you so much. I have to look over to see your comments, so forgive me on that. But I'm glad that you guys are here. I really appreciate that. You have no idea to have real supporters because I haven't had that in such a long time. So make sure you guys like the video. So are you guys ready to go into it? Now, I did read some headlines, and I guess today was the day where Diddy team they came back and they were asking questions against Cassie. And don't you worry, I have several videos that is going to help me because these individuals they were inside the courtroom and they're going to give us the breakdown what happened inside the courtroom. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to give my commentary. I'm going to give how I feel about it. Just looking like everywhere, it just seemed like everything is split. You have a lot of people that see Cassie as 100% victim, and it's like whatever Cassie says, I believe her. I believe her. I believe her. I believe her. She's 19. She was groomed. She didn't know what she was doing. She was a child. Oh my God. And he just took advantage of her. And he took her and he made her do all this stuff. And he brainwashed her. And then he poisoned her. And he kept poisoning her for 10 years. And she couldn't do anything. And she was scared. I mean, man, God, if Diddy would have told her to jump off the cliff, she would have did it because she was so scared of him. My gosh. I mean, he's a big black man. He's so scary, and he has so much power. I mean, if she goes to the police, then the police would even took her and probably locked her up in a jail cell and invited Diddy to come over to do another freak off in a jail cell. I mean, it was so bad out here, and could you blame her? Could you blame her for doing all the horrible things, even if she did hide the pizza boxes, or even if she knew that he was messing around with pizza boxes and she didn't say anything about it and she knows where the bodies are buried and she is scared? Could you blame her? So you have a lot of people that's like, no matter what, she was so scared and everything was dictated by her being scared. And then you have the other side that's like, you know what, Cassie, you are grown. 19, yes, you are young, but you went towards Diddy because you saw the darkness. You are attracted to the darkness. You was attracted to the money, the power, and it was transactional. You knew what you were doing. Even if you did not want to do it, you did it so you can reap the benefits that the Dark Lord was going to give you, which is Diddy. You know, Diddy was paying for her apartments, he was paying for her lifestyle. She could have rejected those advances. And people are saying, well, you know what's going to happen if she rejected? He was going to replace her. And she didn't want to be replaced. She was jealous of all the other girls that could have took her spot, and she wanted to be in the movies. She wanted to have this Hollywood limelight. It wasn't like she wanted to be a nun or she really wanted to get her life right with Christ. She wanted to play in Hollywood. She kept on, when she had her own apartment, she was freaking off with other celebrities. So people feel like, hey, if God came today, is it excusable to say, a man made me do it? I was manipulated. I didn't know right from wrong, so I did it because I was scared of him. I don't think, according to a lot of your all religion, that's not gonna fly. Okay. But that is where we are. There is definitely a divide in the society that's talking about this. So let's get into it, and I want to know your thoughts about this. So yeah, let's get into it. Are you real? Finger number one. So I'm looking here. Hey, Ryan. There are levels to control, Gigi. Okay, so you guys want to talk a little bit before we get into it? So let's talk about it. There are levels to control. Yeah, I feel like the government is controlling me. I'm so sick of the government dictating everything that I can do. But talk to me about it. I'm looking in the comment section. It says, I feel like she was meek and scared, yet stayed because of the lifestyle she loved more than she loved herself. When I hear meek and scared, I don't think of Hollywood. When people are scared, usually they don't want to be seen. They're not trying to be in the limelight. When people are trying to be in the limelight in Hollywood, they want a big ego. They want to be known for, like a Beyonce, they want to be known for some type of thing. And that is the opposite of scared. But I think that she was scared in certain situations. Yeah, I think she was scared in certain situations, especially when he was on drugs. I'm sure some of you probably are scared in certain situations. Maybe when your dad or your husband get drunk and he is enraged, maybe you're scared at that moment. But besides that, when you're around him, maybe you're not scared. I don't think she was scared 100% all the way through. I think there were moments that were very scary for her. And that's how I see it. All right. But in order to want Hollywood, you cannot be scared. Being scared and meek is not going to fly in Hollywood. She wanted all the lights on her. Okay. She wanted her Beyonce moment. Okay. And she sold her soul for it. She was willing to do anything to get into Hollywood. If she had to get the piece of boxes to hide it, she would do it. But of course, and I don't blame her for putting 50 on 10. I do believe when you are fighting for whatever you're fighting for, whether it's politics, whether it's government, whether it's in the courtroom. Oftentimes, people put 50 on 10 to win the argument. Would you guys agree? Press 2 if you agree that oftentimes, when it comes to a fight, people put 50 on 10 to win the argument. So I don't blame her for doing whatever she has to do to win, to secure her money, whatever she has to do. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. Do I blame her for putting 50 on 10? Nah, she got to do what she got to do to win. Hell, that's how I see it. About me, I'm going to look at all sides. I'm not here. I'm not paid by any group. I'm not on anybody's side but my side. Okay, so that's how I see it. All right, so comment, let us know. I'm looking here. Ronald says, hey, I know women lay down for whatever you want to do when you get your money. They like to be taken care of. Whatever you tell them to do, they will do. Well, not every woman. Let's not place it on all women do X, Y, and Z because that is far from the truth. All women are different. All women are not created equally. All women have their limits. Some women that are prostitutes or whores, they will do whatever it takes. Have you guys heard about the prostitutes or the women that goes to the bar and they get boo-booed on? Have you guys heard about that? Press 5 if you have, right? And there's some gorgeous girls that get boo-booed on, some people you probably wouldn't think because how they carry themselves. And it's other people that would rather die. They would rather take me out of here. I would rather die before I will allow anybody to disgrade me that way. And every woman is not the same. So when you guys are trying to paint this narrative that every woman is the same and every man is the same, every 19 years the same, that is such a false, false, false. We are all different. We not built the same. We different. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go up here and I just want to see. Let's go to the video. Now, the title that I got this from is from this video right here. So let's start up here. I'm gonna play it and put it up here. And of course, I will be stopping sometimes just to talk to you guys about it.
We are doing our best to be respectful of what is happening in that courtroom, but also at the same time relaying the proper information to you. Elizabeth, I know my time with you is limited. I know you have to go back in there. So I want to ask you real quick, what were the highlights of the cross-examination? And also, what is the tone by which the cross-examination is being done? Is it combative back and forth? That's the thing we can't get from the transcript right now.
Yeah, as far as the cross-examination goes, for the most part, it seems very casual. We were thinking that it might be aggressive, it might be combative, but for the most part, Cassie has been very forthcoming in answering these questions. She's showing, Ana Maria Estevao is showing her text messages and email chains and BlackBerry messages from 2007, from 2009, where Cassie is confessing her love to Diddy,
All right, someone says that you guys, Cassie is not innocent as she claims to be. I don't think she's innocent, but I do understand that she has to portray so innocent so she can win the jury over. And I think that some of you guys are missing that point. This is war. So people lie in war. People going to do whatever they got to do in order to win. Now, most of the people, of course, you have so many people that are gullible. I mean, when you look around the world, you see a lot of gullible people. So if Cassie and her team has done a great job with controlling the media over these months to come to this point, they have done a phenomenal job. They put a lot of money to push into the media so they can win this. And if you guys did not know, it's just not about Cassie. A lot of people believe that Cassie has been used by the higher ups to destroy Diddy. And what better way to come to your enemies, enemies unite to destroy a common enemy, and which is Diddy. Okay, so that is what a lot of people feel that is happening here. So I feel like she has to put 50 on 10, and if people are believing it, that means she's just winning the war. And that's just what it is. It's all about people beliefs. It doesn't matter about facts. It doesn't matter if she is that innocent or not. It's really about what people believe. And if people believe that she is so innocent, then she might win, even if that's not the truth. In this world, it's really never the facts. It's really what people believe. Belief systems are more powerful than the facts, because if you don't believe in facts and you believe in whatever, that belief system is going to hold true to you over the facts. And we have seen this in so many different situations. But let's continue on. I just wanted to speak about that. It says, yes, she was treated horribly, but she wanted the money. Yeah, she was treated horribly in certain situations. But she pretty much volunteered to go into that and to continue to do those stuff. It wasn't that gross for her if she have done it time and time and time again. Like I said, I know plenty of women and men, they would rather die than to do those things. They would say, no, my soul won't allow me to, I would rather leave this earth than to do this. I remember, and I told this story before, I was raised very conservative in a Christian background. I'm not conservative anymore, and I'm not like a really religious person anymore. But when I was like 9 or 10, I was really sold out. I was sold out for Jesus Christ to the point where if someone would be like, deny Jesus, I would rather die than to deny Jesus Christ at 9 or 10 years old. I mean, that's how strong my faith was and my principles. However, things have changed with me, of course. Uh, I no longer hold that strong belief, but I'm just putting it out there. As a 9 and 10 year old, for me to be so strong willed. And honestly, at that age, I was willing to die. Because me and my friends, we would talk and say, it will be a time where people will start attacking Christians. We were reading some of those scriptures in the Bible where they will have you deny Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior in order to live on this earth. And me and my friends said we will not take the mark. We would rather die than take the mark of the beast. So, everybody is different. Everybody is built different. Let's continue to play.
Is asking for a freak off, or she's asking about just more intimate details from her relationship with him, because to your point, Jesse, a lot of this stuff, a lot of some of these messages that we did see in court today were very graphic in nature. And so the questioning was starting out about the relationship between the two. When it first started out in around that 2007 time period, around that 2009 period, that's when the questioning at the beginning of it kind of all started. And you would think that that would be, an aggressive moment or a combative moment, especially as you're seeing messages that say, I'm a very lucky woman, I miss you, and I'd fly wherever you need me, I love you. And then you see Diddy respond, I love you so much, it makes me cry. And then Cassie writing back, you hungry pop pop. But I'm thinking, just from my perspective, that around those time frames, she was still relatively young for the most part. She was in her early 20s. She was also asked about a previous relationship she had with another music producer named Ryan Les.
Okay, so she talks about text messages, and she said that Cassie, in these text messages, that was not forced. She was not forced to send this text message, that she was in love with Diddy, and I guess Diddy was in love with her. I don't feel like they don't even know what love is. I feel like Diddy never been loved. I feel like Cassie never been loved. I both feel like their parents have failed them. I feel like they're just know about lust. I mean, Diddy, he lusts for power, money. Cassie, she lusts for money and fame. All that put them together is just lust for materialistic and to live a Hollywood wicked lifestyle. All right. And the lady said that she feels that in her early 20s that you don't know about love. And I want to know, do you guys think that is true? When you're in your 20s, do you not know about love? And if that's the case, then we should stop marriages. Because if you're in your early 20s and you guys getting married and you guys have getting pregnant, you guys don't know about love just because of your age. But I promise you, if I was to bring that point to her to say, hey, well, if you're 25 and younger, you should not get married and you should not get pregnant because you don't know nothing about love. I'm sure people will say that's not true. I'm sure people will come up and say, hey, when I was 16, I met the love of my life. We have all heard about those love stories when they fell in love in high school or whatever. We have all seen teen pregnancy at a very high rate that these girls thought they were in love, and possibly, who's to say who's not in love or not. The reason why I say it, because in order to love yourself, you will not allow anybody to manipulate. When you love yourself, can't nobody manipulate you, because you know what it is to love yourself. You know what it is to respect yourself. You know what it is to have boundaries for yourself. You know what it is to have morals and principles that you stand on. So when someone comes into your life and they try to cross those boundaries, when you communicate clearly, that is not who I am, then you know this has nothing to do with love, and they don't respect you as a person. They don't respect your boundaries, especially if they try to entice you and give you money. So with a person that loves themselves, they see those signs and they see them as, I need to leave. I need to get out because this person is not right for me. How often, if you don't love yourself and you're willing to sell your soul or to sacrifice yourself, it becomes, oh, he crossed my boundaries. It's not that bad. Well, at least I'm getting a Balenciaga purse out of it. Well, at least I'm going to get some Chanel glasses out of it. And, just stunting on friends or me possibly being in Hollywood is really more important than my boundaries. I mean, who cares if he calls me a bitch? Who cares if he cusses me out this one time? I don't like it, but I'd rather spend my time trying to go to these Hollywood premieres than just sitting at home, reading the Bible. I'd rather do that. So we all have choices. And oftentimes, when a person shows you a red flags and they disrespect you one time, most likely it's going to continue to disrespect, and you're going to continue to give it a pass because you are sacrificing your morals, your boundaries, and who you stand for to gain something. Sometimes it could be you want to gain an affection for someone because you're so obsessive or you're lusting after this person and you just want their attention. So you're willing to trade in your morals and your values for attention from someone. Or if you want to seek validation from someone, you want someone to approve you. So you do certain things that you don't want to do, but you do it anyway. And oftentimes, do you even have any principles or values or morals? A lot of times, people don't. You will ask them, so what do you stand for? And they would say, I don't know what I stand for. Okay, but that's something that you have to work in within yourself. You got to know who you are. You have to do the work. All right, so let's continue on to see what else. And I'm just going to replay and to see how you guys are talking. Okay. I'm late, Refe Gang. I'm glad that you guys are here. Now, I did see someone earlier. They were asking me about my faith at such a young age. Yeah, I did have strong faith at such a young age. It's all because how I was raised. I was baptized at a very young age. So I had my family is full of Christians and Jehovah Witness. So, like when I went home, they continue to do tradition, which is reading the Bible every morning. Every morning, my parents, they get up and they read the Bible. They invited me to read the Bible with them this week, but I denied. I said, no, I won't partake. But it's because of my upbringing. So that's just what that was.
And around this time frame, the defense was kind of saying, when you started dating him, you were 18, 19 years old and he was 10 years older than you, and asking, with.
All right, let's have the conversation. You guys know I love to have conversations. So someone says, not true. People are all not the same. I completely agree with you. I don't think we're all the same either. I think a lot of us are different. And I think a lot of us copy other people. A lot of people don't have any direction. So they try to copy what they see the next person do, hoping to get the same results as the next person. And a lot of times it won't work because you're not them. But it says if someone disrespects you one time, you can warn them not to do that again. And they won't do it anymore. But with that, some people, I don't believe in that. I do believe if I'm with a guy and he calls me a bitch, I believe that most likely he's going to call me a bitch again. And if I have strong morals with people calling me out of my name, that should really, if it really in me to that it goes against my belief and goes against who I am as a person, I can't stomach to be with that person. But I feel like a lot of people, they're kind of okay with it, so they call you a bitch one time and you just see it as a pass. Well, everybody else get called a bitch, so it's not that bad. And then you say, don't call me a bitch, but do you say it? I mean, oftentimes a lot of y'all don't even say, please don't call me a bitch anymore. You just let it pass. And he ends up calling you a bitch again and again and again and again. And then you want to cry out, well, you've been calling me a bitch this whole time. You've been around him calling you a bitch this whole time and you have not said anything. But I will give you another example. Say if you was that same girl and you saw your man kissing another man and you know that's something you don't stand for. You don't want a man that's a homosexual. A lot of people that have strong feelings and strong beliefs, they will not see that person again. And when you tell that guy, can you please not kiss another man again? Of course, he'll probably say, I promise I won't. It was a mistake. You know, I was just testing it out. The devil made me do it. I was manipulated. I was scared because he was a boss. Whatever excuse he's going to give you. If you want to take those chances and believe that, that's on you. But if that's something that you're truly against, I don't think that you will go again. I think that someone disrespecting you, especially the bitch, or if he cheats on you, that's something that he should already know not to do before getting involved with anyone. And if you have to continue to teach someone how to respect you, especially with simple things of that, I think that's the problem. But you know, you guys keep on being okay with the bitch, being okay with the cheating, and you tell them, just like Wendy Williams told her husband. She said, hey, you know, I don't mind you cheating on me, which is ludicrous. Just don't have a baby. And he said, okay. And what did he do? He had a baby. Okay. So you can't control anyone, but you can control yourself. You can get out of these situations before it start to get very dangerous. It's all really about prevention, you know? So keep on taking those chances, and maybe you be lucky, maybe you be blessed and it doesn't happen to you, but I wouldn't chance it, especially on certain things that I'm very strongly against. I just don't chance those things. Okay. All right. But how do I get out? How do I get my story out? I don't know your story, Cookie. Okay. So I'm just looking here. The same people that saying she's not innocent, never been abused or beat by men. It's scary. You would do anything, even rob a bank. Well, Angel, I think that's you're speaking for yourself. I would rather for you to say, I was abused by a man and I would rob a bank for him. That's how badly it was. And why would you rob a bank for him? Was it because you were scared of him? Or was you in love with him? Were you infatuated with him? You know? I mean, I think that type of fear, God wants you to have that type of fear, right? You'll have that type of fear for a man, but you won't have that type of fear for God, okay? When it comes to fornication, when it comes to anything else, right? I'm just talking. I'm just joking at this point. I really don't care who fornicates or what you do. Okay, I'm just talking. I'm sure a lot of people like, why can't they have that fear for God? Okay, why can't they have that love for God? Okay, but people have been abused. I've talked to women, and women have talked out, and they say they have been abused, and they had choices. Some don't feel like they have choices. Everybody is different. It's really about your mindset. You know, if you are easily to be manipulated, you have a weak mindset, then it is big possibility that people can brainwash you because you're easily to be manipulated. I don't know how you can fix that. You know, I guess you will have to go to therapy to figure out why are you so weak-minded when it comes to men? Why are you easily manipulated? Why do you have syndromes when people dislike you? You constantly want validation from them. So yeah. All right. Okay, Gigi, you have a lot of wisdom. Well, thank you so much. Oftentimes, I really don't share my wisdom because in the past, I really didn't want to share myself. I didn't want to give myself to social media because I just feel like social media is a dangerous place. And I like to keep a lot of me to myself. Oftentimes I'd be loud, girl, hey, because I just feel like that's what you guys like. And in this society, that's what you guys are drawn to. Oftentimes when I'm just talking like this, I just feel like I may bore you. But recently I had a conversation with family, and they have kind of like inspired me to see things different and take a little turn. So I really appreciate them for that talk. All right. So just trying something new, see if it works. All right. The DL brothers are the most disrespectful to women. Oh, okay. Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know whether are you saying that because Diddy, you believe he's on the down low? And you know what's so interesting about it? I'm still waiting for the gay stories. I haven't heard the gay stories. I think the gayest thing I've heard about Diddy during this trial is he likes to get Cassie to have sex with different men, and people can perceive that as gay because he needs that man in the room in order to get off. Possibly, but I'm sure the number of times Cassie have done it and even risking herself catching, infections. I think that's just, can we judge? I think it's gross. I think so. I mean, could you imagine if your husband told you to have do with a man that looks sickly and that is infected with HI, you know what? Would you do it? If he beat on you, like I said, I know some people that would say, kill me now. Kill me now. I'm not doing that shit. I mean, because you're going to have to live with that. And some people, they just can't take it. And some people that's very religious, they say, God got me. This earth is nothing but temporary anyway. But could you do it? Could you do it? Some girl, we just had a girl, she said she'll rob a bank for her guy, which is very frightening. And sometimes I feel like that's scary to be around a person that will be so controlled by other people, because they can't think for themselves. They do something horrible to you and then they blame somebody else and then they want your forgiveness. And it's like, well, it's not my fault because I was manipulated. You are a dangerous person. Like, please, I can't deal. And I guess going into that, could you really be in friendships with a girl or a guy that gets abused by their significant other? Could you be a friend to them? Could you be around them? I just feel like if I was to be a friend to them, putting myself in danger. And if anything bad happens, I can't blame anybody but myself because I know that she or he does not think for themselves. I know that they are brainwashed and controlled and they're nothing but a puppet to their puppet master. And eventually, if their puppet master is evil and they feel like I am a friend to their puppet, eventually that puppet will turn on me. So I don't put myself in those situations. I just pray about it and say maybe you need to go to a therapist or go to church, and find God, and maybe God can give you the strength to get out. They say God that can give you the strength to do anything if you just lean on Him, and you know, that's that. All right. So let's continue on. Let me play a little bit more.
To Sean Combs in respect to Diddy, asking whether or not, that her entire world opened up because she was dating this man at this time period. Because remember, around that time, Diddy essentially reigned king amongst everyone. And so a lot of the questioning was a lot of messages that were shown today. A lot saying, I love you so much. It made me feel like I can't wait until we just don't care anymore. And by saying we don't care anymore, that's about, her just wanting to be open and public about this relationship. You see Cassie say, Pop, I really miss you. And Diddy responding in these messages, me too, baby. Damn, I can't wait until I see you. You see a 2010 message where Cassie says, so you hung up. It's like I need to have something written out to say to you with.
All right, so let's talk about that and let's talk about prevention. And I don't know if these text messages was when she hit 22, after 22, or before 22. They tell me that the freak off started at the age of 22, but she met him at 19. And I guess my question is, between 19 and 22, what made her stay? Like, what did he do that caused her to stay? He never loved her. I know that for sure. He was never loyal to her. I know that for sure. The only thing that he gave to her was materialistic in a lifestyle that she loved to flaunt. That was it. What did he do that would cause her to love him? And what did she do that would cause him to love her? She didn't do anything. Remember, it's the age gap difference. They have nothing in common. They have nothing to talk about. With him, it was just a pretty little thing. It's another collection in his books. It's nothing but property. And I think when she hit 22, then it became the pimp and the hoe situation. And I think like she wanted to be the bottom bitch, and she feared that Diddy would replace her with another bottom bitch, because when you don't have anything to offer to a man, all you have to offer is to do freaky things and freak offs. What else was Cassie offering? She can't offer anything. And a lot of pretty little things, they can't offer much. So the only thing that she could offer, her only value, was being Diddy's assistant to the freak offs, was being a prostitute for him, involving other prostitutes. And I think when you disrespect yourself so much and you let a man know that you can be bought, and that is a form of disrespecting yourself, when all you give is, hey, I want this, I want that, and I'm really a freak for it, you will get disrespected. And I think things got out of hand. I think Diddy has an anger problem. He has a control problem. And dealing with a beast like that, you never know what could happen. But I also feel like she was consumed with Hollywood. She was consumed with materialistic. She was consumed with everything that was so worldly and deadly to her. And she did not want to give it up. She was willing to eat boo boo for it. She was willing to get pissed on for it. She was willing to contact infections for it. She was willing to get beat for it. And it's a lot of girls out here and guys that are getting beat in these relationships. She's not the first and she won't be the last. And they will sacrifice, getting physical abuse to gain somebody validation. People have gotten beat for less. She got whooped because she wanted a lifestyle that he could offer her that maybe a lot of people can't. But a lot of people, you're coming every day, they are still in these relationships and they get beat for less. So let's continue on and see what else is out here.
No breathing room or you'll get mad at me. I haven't talked to you at all. I know you have 3 minutes because, around this time he is running a bunch of businesses. He's going to board meetings. He's traveling across the country. But it seems like, Cassie, from her point of view, just by reading these
All right. Jack says, you forget she had a 10 album deal with Diddy and only one album. What the F? The Me and You song, Only I Knew of Her. Okay, so let me add that to perspective. The 10 album deal. She had a 10 album deal. I mean, that's a lot. 10 album deals. That is a lot. That is definitely that's crazy. 10 albums? Hell, I don't even know. It remind me of I shouldn't bring that up. Okay. I think anytime when you're doing that much, especially if you're not have history with working with a person, I think that is a bad business decision. And that was definitely a bad business decision on Cassie's behalf. And what do you do? I mean, how do you go about it? Cassie did not get or hire someone to look over her paperwork. When you're doing grown up things, you have to be very responsible. It's just like a lot of young people getting involved in credit card and they don't know what they're doing, but they want to just do it. Who do you blame at that point? When Cassie made horrible business decision, you want to blame everybody else because you say she's 19 and she's innocent and she did not know, but ignorance, is that an excuse? Not knowing, is that an excuse? I don't know. Religious tones, they say ignorance is not an excuse because you can find out. Some people will say, hey, she didn't know, you can't really blame her. And other people will say, hey, she should have, you know, knew more, did more research with the bed that she was getting into, because Diddy is not new. He's established. He have did horrible things and bad business decision with artists prior to her. Clearly, she saw those red flags and she just ignored that. And she didn't get anybody in to really oversee the paperwork before she signed the dotted line. So, you know, do you say 19-year-olds should not be artists? Should we put an age cap on it? You have to be 25 years old in order to sign any contracts, because we believe if you're under 25, you just don't have the intelligence to know what you're signing. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's going to fly. So yeah, comment, let us know your thoughts about that. What do you guys think? Gigi, it said in court, Diddy would take her passport, blackmail her with explicit videos as well of her identification. Cassie tried to leave. Where she's supposed to go when she ran, Diddy. Okay, well, that's horrible. Diddy took her passport, and then how did he get it? I mean, if you take the passport, how did he get the passport? If he said, give me your goddamn passport, I lost it. I don't know what that damn passport is. How did he get the passport? How did he get that damn passport? Man, that passport is gone. Okay. She had her own apartment. I mean, damn, she could have really lost her passport. She should have gave her passport to somebody else. I don't know, but how did she just hand it over? Comment, let me know. Diddy demanded the passport. Did she just hand that shit over? I don't know how that happened. Okay, blackmail her with explicit videos as well as her identification. Okay, that's horrible. Blackmail is not a breeze in a park. When people blackmail you, people oftentimes they do cave in, they do give in to whatever the person wants because they don't want that out there. They don't want to be exposed, and that's horrible. And that definitely shows that he manipulated and he had power over her when you have that blackmail. However, when someone blackmail you to do a crime or to do something, you do have choices. And at this time, it's about, do I go deeper dark in the dark hole? Because Satan will blackmail you, and do you go further into Satan's trap and do more horrible stuff where Satan can record you and have more shit on you? Or do you say it stops now? You're not going to allow blackmail to control and dictate your life, and you just going to have to face the music. You're going to have to be accountable for the dark shit that you did, and you just have to come clean. And do you know what that does to you? It will break the bondage. It will break you free. And that's the most blessing thing that you can do for yourself. You have to choose yourself every time. You have to. So if you have to face that nasty music, do it. It's better than continually to go down that dark rabbit hole while they're collecting more and more darkness on you. And you still have to be accountable for all that darkness that you have been doing, even though you're blackmailed, because we all have choices. We all have choices. Sometimes the choices are hard, but it's a choice nonetheless. Life is not easy. Everything is not going to be easy. Sometimes we have to make the hard choices. All right. So it says he couldn't have blackmailed with explicit videos. I would have told him to push them motherfuckers. I'm getting far away from him, and right, Gigi, I know that's right. Okay. But you love yourself. I mean, that's what loving yourself looks like, because you're not going to go doing things that is against who you are as a person, because you're fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your soul. You're fighting for your dignity. I mean, just like Lawrence, what's his name? Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard said he's not going to allow Hollywood to take his man card. Do you know how often Hollywood try to get these men to do so many homosexual acts, and they blackmail these men and they do X, Y, and Z. They blackball them, to try to get them to cave in. And some man, like Terrence Howard, said he will not do it. And that's why people see him as so heroic and having courage, because he is not going to allow Hollywood to take his soul. He's not going to bow down to it. Okay. All right. They said the only thing not developed about a 19-year-old brain versus a 25-year-old is experience. Okay. Experience. You're talking about the experience about signing that deal. Well, when you don't have experience, you get someone who does have experience. And that's with anything that you do. I'm sure a lot of you guys want to start doing different things in your life that you don't know. I know for me, I want to be a business owner. I want to learn more about entrepreneurship. And I don't know a lot about it. I don't have the experience. I'm not going to go dead into it because I know most likely I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. But I do plan to surround myself around multiple different people, multiple sources that have experience in entrepreneurship so I can learn from before I decide to make a move. So if you don't have experience in anything, or if you're young, the best thing to do is get other people that have experience. And it's not good to just to get one source, but almost like when you guys were in school and you have to do a book report and you have to have multiple sources and you have to cite your sources. Well, you're going to use that same type of mentality when you're going out here getting involved in certain things that you don't have experience. You don't want to just cite one source when you're doing your essay. You want multiple sources so you can get a different variety of experiences and know-how. Okay? All right. So let's see what else that you guys have. All right. So let me continue to play.
Is that you could kind of tell that she was just somebody, at least from my perspective, somebody that was young and in love and just wanted her boyfriend around her that time. I will say, as far as just kind of the tone in the courtroom today, this was a day many of us were waiting for, because it is the cross-examination. We were wondering what the defense is going to try to poke at with, kind of maybe discrediting some of the claims, especially the claims about whether or not this was consensual or non-consensual, whether or not Cassie initiated wanting to do these FOs, or whether it was, Sean Combs who initiated and wanted to do it and made her, gather these escorts. And we haven't gotten too far into the testimony. I will say one thing today, Jesse, and some of the arguments that we had heard, even as I was leaving the courtroom just to come out and do this hit with you today, is that Cassie may be on the stand well until tomorrow as well, too, still in cross-examination, something that the judge was a little like, whoa, what are you guys talking about? You guys told me that you would be wrapped up today or possibly tomorrow. And the defense said today that they still have so much more to go over, to the point that this could drag into Friday and possibly even spill over into Monday if they have to do redirect or even have to do recross. And so that was something that they were ironing out as soon as the lunch break hit, right when I was leaving to come out here to speak with you. And so it seems like they still have a long ways to go into this cross-examination. There were times that I was thinking maybe that this would get combative, maybe Cassie would get mad or angry or anything like that. I saw none of that. She was, again, very forthcoming, answering her questions in the courtroom, still very soft-spoken, even when those graphic messages were shown inside the courtroom, even as she had to read some of these, and these are very sexual in nature. Some of them I'm not going to repeat here on air, but for the most part, when she was answering the question, she still kept the exact same tone that she had had even during her direct examination.
All right, Andrew, he makes a statement. I think his statement is so true, and it rings to a lot of people's situation. She loved it until she did not love it. So oftentimes, and this goes for men and women, you will get in a situation where this girl is involved with the man because he is giving her money and she likes the lifestyle. He disrespects her, he cheats on her, and she's okay with it for now until she's not okay. It becomes a time in her life where she don't want to do the things anymore. And I think she has every right to not want to, but I think if she don't want to, she just needs to really cut it turkey and she needs to be accountable for all the dark shit that she have done. But a lot of times, they continue to keep playing in and just do it to keep the peace because they don't want to ruffle the feathers because they don't want to all that shit to get out. And they do it, and then I guess it becomes a breaking point, and especially when you've given an opportunity like Cassie. The opportunity that Cassie got is an opportunity that most girls don't have at all. When you're involved with the man and then you begin to despise him, you're getting tired of being the prostitute, and then you have another big money making man comes along and say, "Hey, I can rescue you or I can get revenge," because at this time Cassie and Diddy, they were separated. So a lot of people were like, how could she get away from him? But eventually she did get away from him, right? And she survived, she lived, and she was cool. When she left Diddy with Alex, they parted ways and Diddy didn't kill her. Like a lot of people push this narrative like he would kill her if she left him, but eventually she did leave him. Well, when she left him, to my understanding, she still wanted some money. She wanted money for, I guess, the records or the business deals that she have done with him, and she felt that, according to business, Diddy did not do her right by business, and Diddy pretty much said, "F you, ho, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." All right, so Diddy was also making bigger enemies. And the enemies that he made was with the higher white elites when it was with that liquor company. And he sued them based on some racist claims. So I believe that they partner up with Cassie and partner up with everybody that had an issue with Diddy. And they say, "Hey, we're going to destroy his ass. I am willing to give you money, Cassie, to be my puppet. You've been manipulated by him. Let me manipulate you. Let's put 50 on 10 and drag his ass. I know you're not innocent, but who gives a fuck? We're going to paint you as the innocent. We're going to paint him as the monster he is. And we're going to destroy his ass. We're going to drain him for the money. We're going to make him rot in prison. And we're going to destroy his name and legacy. And everybody going to know him as a goddamn monster. You fucked with the wrong one." Okay. So I think that's how that went down. Okay. And like I said before, do I blame her for putting 50 on 10 to win the fight? No, she's doing what she felt like she has to do in order to win. So it's what you get when you play in the dark side. Diddy have played in the dark side and he got fucked. I mean, he got fucked. I mean, Diddy have fucked other people and now he's getting fucked. So, I mean, it is what it is. So that's how I see it. All right. But comment, let us know your thoughts about it. Let me continue to play.
Anna Maria Estevao, excuse me, I mispronounced her name earlier when we were talking about her, but even when she was asking her questions, it was a little kind of messy at times. I was kind of like, is she just going to ask a direct question? And Cassie was like, "Can you repeat that? Can you rephrase it?" And then there were a lot of objections during the line of questioning. One thing I did note is that I'm a little surprised that Anna Maria Estevao is actually doing the line of questioning, because from what I can see of her, she's conferring a lot with Tenny Garagos during this line of questioning, whereas with AUSA Emily Johnson, when she was doing her direct examination, as far as Maureen Comey, as far as she was participating in that, she was just handing her sticky notes from time to time. She would get up, she would sit down. It wasn't too distracting, kind of like it is a little bit between the defense table, just kind of going back and forth. You see Diddy at the
All right, so it's getting a little bit too wordy, so I want to fast forward.
What do you think?
The text messages certainly will weigh on her credibility. I think what we've heard or what we're hearing now through the cross examination is the defense attorney essentially using these text messages to say to her, well, listen, you again were a willing participant, you continue this relationship with him. And the defense is highlighting that through those text messages and through the conversations Ms. Ventura has been having. But it also goes both ways, because also in those text messages, which there are some ones for the prosecution here, she discusses how he has been physically violent towards her. They discuss the freak offs and a number of other things that really go to show that there was some sort of physical violence within the relationship, threats of force and things like that, which the government essentially has to prove. So the jury is going to determine how credible Ms. Ventura is, and the judge will instruct them on how to determine that. And they will be able to decide whether or not those text messages are consistent with her credibility, and if they either bolster or affirm her credibility or discredit her.
Well, I'll tell you what, we did a poll up on Law and Crime. This was the question. After hearing both the allegations and the defense cross-examination so far, who do you find more credible? 80% say Cassie, 20% say Diddy. Serena, you think that's going to be consistent with what the jury's thinking at this point, or it's very difficult to know because, again, there's one thing how we're listening to the transcript, or at least we're reading from the transcript, versus how the questioning is done inside that courtroom. What do you think?
So much plays a role here, Jesse. It goes in every different direction. First of all, the people who are taking the poll are almost self-selected, right? They're obviously interested and have been following the Diddy case for a long time. They might actually know, your Law and Crime viewers might know a lot more about this case than the jurors do, at least at this point. And so it's hard to say whether it's going to,
I think that's an awesome point that she made. So they're talking about the text messages. Cassie text messages read that she initiated a lot of the freak offs. She wanted to get freaky too. She even confessed that sometimes she did want it, but then oftentimes she did not want it. Almost like a husband and wife. Sometimes the wife want it, but a lot of times the wife don't want to have sex, but she has sex to please her husband. So I want to know, is that manipulation of the husband out there? I'm just curious. Sometimes I do like to get messy from here to there. I want to know, what do you guys think? If you have a wife and the husband is pressuring her to have sex and she don't want to, but she does it to please him, is that manipulation? Press 1 if that's manipulation. Press 2 if it's not. And afterwards, she said, well, I did it because you wanted me to, and I feel awful now. Like I didn't want to do it. But okay. I mean, we can use a lot of these situations in your everyday situation. All right. But that was funny. But she says that the people that answer the questions are people that is involved in the Diddy trial. And most people that have been following this in social media, it's been months. And most of them don't like Diddy. They hate Diddy. They have read and saw so many stories about Diddy, and they are invested in Diddy. But when it comes to the jury, they don't know anything about Diddy. So they don't have all this stuff in their head about Diddy. So they're coming and they're just focusing on what's said in court. They're not having in their mind all the videos that's about Diddy. People are obsessed with Diddy, just like you have people that are obsessed with Beyonce. You have people that love her. You have people that hate her. And you have so many people that are obsessed with hating Diddy that they get up every day just to look at horrible stories and engage in horrible stories about Diddy because they are so invested. And I think a lot of that has to do with their personal life. Like their husband is a Diddy, or they've been abused, and they put Diddy as like a token for all men that have abused them in their life. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well, because they're projecting in their life on the situation. But with the jury selection, they don't have that connection. They're not invested whether Diddy is bad or good. They're just going to take what they see in the court. So I think that's very telling. It's almost like the Nicholson case. If you guys did not know, it was a black guy in Memphis. He ran the red light, they say, and it was like 5 black cop officers that beat him up. Now, a lot of people felt that the black cop officers were going to be guilty, but the jury did not see it that way. They saw him as not guilty. So the 5 cop officers, they are not guilty. But it shocked a lot of people because they were very involved in the case. They read a lot of stories about the case. But the jury selection, you can't be that involved. You can't really know too much. So it's going to be a different point of view. And it's really based on the arguments that's won inside the court. All right. So let's continue on.
Spill over to how the jury feels. On the other hand, the jury is supposed to be objective. It's supposed to reflect, the community, and hopefully the jury is listening very, very intently to all of the testimony, both the cross and also the direct from the prosecution. I do think that Cassie has come across very credible. I also do think that there is a little bit of an uphill battle with respect to these text messages, because they're going to try to say, look, you're saying these things now, but your state of mind at the time was that you were a willing participant.
And I think that's kind of hard. If you're a liar, you're a liar. If you're lying about something now, who's to say Cassie is not lying now because she's lying, If Diddy can manipulate you to lie and make you feel scared, who's to say the higher ups is not forcing her to take the stand? Because a lot of people said Cassie did not want to take the stand. She just wanted to get her money and she wanted to mind her business. But who's to say the puppet master is not forcing her on this stand and making her lie or making her put 50 on 10? I mean, I don't know. Because if you're easily to be manipulated, it can work both ways. So someone says, have you ever been scared of someone so much that you couldn't speak of it? Now imagine that same person being a billionaire with connections. The girl was trapped, okay? I don't see it that way. It's always choices. She wasn't trapped. I don't even think she felt trapped. I felt like she wanted something out of the deal and she did not want nobody to take her place. She said that she was insanely jealous. Jealousy and sabotaging other girls so they won't take your spot is someone that's not trapped. How do you make that? I'm trapped, but I don't want nobody to take my place and I still want to live good. If you are disgusted, you don't want no mansions. You don't want no Chanels. I don't even want to live in this apartment because this apartment you are paying for and it reminds me of you. I want to get out. I don't want shit you have to offer me. I'm blockity block. I'm going to go in the streets and I'm going to camouflage as a homeless person. I'm going to get me a bus ticket to Florida. And I'm going to take a trip to Nigeria where they do not allow homosexuals, okay? And then when I get to Nigeria, I'm going to tell my motherfucking story in a different country, okay? I mean, there's always options. There's always things. I mean, she's a creative person, right? She's into the arts. She could have been very creative, but I fear that she wanted her cake and she wanted to eat it too. Okay. So when you want your cake and want to eat it too, you do have to make these sacrifices, and she sacrificed her soul for it. And she left. I mean, it was a time where she left and she was with a whole different man. If Diddy was this killer or this evil person, how in the hell did he allow her to leave? I'm thinking, Diddy, you a killer. You should have took her ass out of here. You should have took her and Alex out of here. How you gonna allow their ass to leave? That's what your ass get, Diddy. When she crossed your ass and was hooking up with Alex, you could have got rid of both of them, buried the bodies, and we wouldn't be here today. So you weak. You got weak, okay? But clearly that's not the situation. She left. Um, yes, she was traumatized by the shit that she decided to do that she didn't want to do, but she did it to get exchange for a lifestyle. I mean, we've all have done a lot of y'all have done a lot of stuff you didn't want to do that you did. Let's ask, have you guys did some shit that you didn't want to do but you did, or is this some shit that you're ashamed of that you did? Press 7 if it is some things in a life that you have done that you didn't want to do or you're ashamed of. Okay? I'm sure most of you all have. All right. So let's continue on.
We'll talk about the defense and something that Elizabeth just brought up, Safa. Why would it be Anna Esteveo is doing the cross-examination as opposed to Tenny Garagos? Do you have a theory about that?
Oh, absolutely. There's absolutely no way that the defense could have allowed a male to cross-examine Miss Ventura. For optics
Well,
purposes,
Tenny Garagos is a woman.
yeah, well, and so I guess to the point, and I think what I heard Elizabeth say was what she was conferring, or I think it was Miss Anna who was conferring with other attorneys. But essentially, they need a woman to cross-examine Miss Ventura, and the importance of that is because optically speaking, when you have a man who is cross-examining a woman, especially a pregnant woman who is very delicate in nature because of her pregnancy condition, it just looks bad to have a male cross-examine her. So it's not surprising that the defense would have made the decision to have this particular attorney cross-examine her. And I think for optics speaking, that was the right thing for them to do. If they had a male cross-examining Miss Ventura, it would have just looked very aggressive, as if they're pummeling down or combative with a woman who is pregnant and fragile and maybe in the view of the eyes or in the eyes of the jury is a victim. So they're very careful about that.
It's interesting when we talk about her cross-examination because we have a question here, Serena, from Legs 7K. With today's cross-examination, could Cassie be on the stand tomorrow, or is there a new witness to testify? So it seems the judge said in court, hey, listen, guys, the plan was, you always knew her testimony had to end this week. Now, why that's the case, maybe it has to do with pregnancy.
All right. So she says, did he control what she wore? Okay. So every day Diddy wasn't even with her. It was plenty of days that she did what she wanted to do without Diddy. She was dating men without Diddy. So maybe he controlled what she wore, or maybe he suggested you should wear this and that to a premiere because at the time she was working, as his prostitute. So he'll probably say, hey, put this dress on. It complements my fly to the red carpet. But she was not with Diddy every single day. Press 9 if you guys know now she was not with Diddy every single day. Press 50 if you feel like she was with Diddy every single day. So he did not control everything that she wore. Okay. So that's the first lie. Okay, what do you think that is? I think that's a lie because they wasn't even together every single day. Mental control. I think that is someone that is subjecting themselves to the person because they want a lifestyle, they want to get paid, they want to live when they don't have to work. Shit. That's what that is. Hell. Okay. Um I wore uniforms. Was that mental control? I mean, I was a child, so, but she's not a child. But I was a child when I wore uniforms. I didn't want to, but I did it. But anyway, people wear uniform. You know what I do? I wish they would wear uniforms at McDonald's. Okay, I think it's sickening to see people work at these fast food restaurants and you guys just have your regular clothes on. I want you guys back in uniform and I want you guys to be more respectful and I want to hear yes sir, no ma'am. And I want you to communicate effectively and I want you guys to be happy that you're there with a smile. I get so sick and tired of it. But I know that's neither here nor there. But when I think about control and wearing, I want McDonald's to enforce uniforms every single day. Uh, neatly pressed, clean uniforms. You shouldn't have no dirty ass uniforms. All right, but that's another conversation. It says even Kim Porter couldn't leave. Yet Cassie, who's 15 years younger, they just can't leave. She had her own apartment. So leave what? Leave the situation? She could have left that situation and she would have got replaced. That's why she was so jealous. When you want to leave, you're not jealous. You're not insanely jealous. You don't care. When you want to leave and you don't want to be there, you are matter of fact, I will introduce you to this girl. Have you met Keisha? Honey, when I tell you Keisha, she know all the men. Okay. And she comes with a cheaper price. All you gotta do is buy her $200 worth of food stamps, okay? And she's good. She keep everything quiet. Honey, I would have been introducing her to Keisha, Pam. Please take my spot. I want him to get involved with another girl that he feels that's better than me, that's more freakier than me. Take my spot. But she didn't want that. She wanted a spot. She wanted a spot. So that's not being trapped when you want a spot.
Not entirely sure, but what I will tell you is there is a lot more they need to question her about, and there's a lot more that I imagine the prosecution wants to come back at with a redirect. Why is it so important to have this testimony finished up by the end of the week?
All right, Kim P and Diddy were never married. No shit. P. Diddy is not a marriage type of guy. He never came across as a marriage type of guy. He never came across as a man that is respectful, honorable. So therefore, Kim Porter and every girl that got with Diddy, they knew the time. They knew that he was on that demon time. They knew that he was a dog. And that is another situation. When you are getting involved with Satan himself and you get burned, you want to cry victim. When you didn't have to go there, you did not have to get Kim Porter. She's beautiful, right? She could have got with a guy that loves her, respects her, is not out here fornicating with anybody, but she decided to go with Diddy. And they said Kim Porter, she's also bisexual and she loves to have fun. These girls that get with Diddy, they are party girls. They enjoy this type of all this lights and glams and materialistic. They love playing on the Satan's playground. They're not interested in marriage. They're not interested in living right or, family oriented and pro family. They are interested in Hollywood. They want their name to know. They want to be a celebrity. They want to walk the red carpets. They want everybody to ask them what you got on. They're into that lifestyle. Now, Cassie, maybe she didn't calm down now because, what else she gonna do? She's damn near 40 years old, I don't know. That her best bet, but at the same time, she's still famous now. She got more fame from this than she got from her music, that never came out. But yeah.
Do you think that this is realistically going to end by tomorrow, or do you think this has to extend until Monday? I mean, doesn't the defense and the prosecution have a right to question this witness as much as they need to? This is
all right. I love going back and forth. Party girls, yes, not sex trafficking. What is a party girl? Okay, out here fornicating, doing the drugs, doing whatever it is. When you are a part of that type of scenery, do you think good is going to happen out of that? No. You're setting yourself up for failure. That is how devils tricked you. Satan tricks you thinking, oh, come outside. We're going to have fun. We're going to drink. We're going to smoke. We're going to do all this. No. Get out of that situation. Get out. Most people that's in that find themselves in deadly and horrible situations when they get into that freaked out lifestyle. They want to be party girls and they have horrible stories. I see it all the time on TikTok. I see it all the time on YouTube. They want to be outside. They want to be out. Sit your ass down. Sit down somewhere. You haven't even got your life figured out yet. You don't even know who you are, and you steady being outside. Sit down. Sit down. But Cassie, but no, they didn't ask to be sex trafficked. So when you talk about sex traffic, what do you mean by that? Doing the do? I'm not understanding sex trafficking. So was Cassie and Diddy? I mean, did Diddy force Cassie over state lines and did to do with her? Is that what we're saying? And maybe I missed something. I apologize if I missed something. But press 10 if Diddy took Cassie across state lines without her consent, and he ended up doing a do with her. Did Diddy do that? Press 10 if Diddy did that. If he took Cassie across state lines without her consent, and he did the do with her. Press 15 if you heard no such thing. Okay. Press 15 if you heard no such thing. So I haven't heard that yet about Diddy, putting her across state lines. All I heard was she did stuff that she didn't want to do, but she did it for the love of Diddy. And to me, she did it for the love of fame and fortune. But that's about it. But you see how they lie? You see how they push this false narrative out here? And I don't blame them because that's what Cassie people did. And I don't blame her for doing it because she's trying to win the case. And the people that's over Cassie, they hate Diddy and they want to destroy him. I mean, that's the game that we play. All right? That is the game that they play. So Cassie was interested in having a career. Really? After 10 years sitting up there with Diddy, I mean, the first, second, third year, okay. The fourth, fifth year, you have to know this shit ain't gonna fly, okay? The fourth, fifth year, you have to know. I can understand first, second, third year. Fifth, sixth, I'm not buying it, okay? Too long, too damn long, too damn long. Hell, okay, Diddy preyed on her. Okay. Diddy preyed on her. Could be true. Could Diddy saw her and say, hey, I want to make you into a freak off hoe? Possibly, but I think she wanted him as well. I think Cassie was looking for him too. I think Cassie was like a snake slithering around Hollywood looking for someone to do for her that she could not do for herself, which is make her a star. She was looking for someone to make her a star. She was looking up and down. Who can make me a star? Who can make me famous? Who can give me this? Who can give me that? So, but did he prey on her? I believe so. I believe so. But I also believe that she looked for it as well. She wanted someone. It didn't matter if he was evil. It didn't matter if it was Satan himself. If that Satan could bring her into fame and fortune, she was going to take it for the ride. Okay? I can understand if she says, you know what? I want fame, but I don't want it bad, and I don't want it with you. I've been heard some horrible things about Diddy, and I'm not going. When the guy told her, I want to meet him with Diddy, she should have said, hell no. I done heard some shit, and no, I'm not getting involved. And when a guy sees you, you know what it's on. When he looking at you a certain way, you know what it's on. But in the beginning, from 19 to 22, she was okay with it. She was okay with this older man looking at her sexual eyes. She was okay with receiving the gifts. I know I have a little sister, and I think she's so different because she was like, and mind you, my sister is like 19, 20. And it was like guys that's 30 years old. And she feels like a 30-year-old guy that's trying to talk to her is so gross. And she's like, they're just getting on her nerves and they're just peeping her out. And she is very disgusted by that. So like I said before, every 19-year-old is different. My sister, she is yucked out at the idea of older men trying to approach her or talk to her. They can't offer her a cigarette. They can't offer her nothing. Just can't. And you do have some girls that they are looking for an older man to get over on the older man. They don't want to be with the older man, but they want to get the benefits that he's willing to shove out in order to pretend like she likes him. They were using each other. Okay, it was no love there. But let's continue on.
The star witness in this case.
100%. I would highly doubt that this is going to end today. Most likely it will continue tomorrow, possibly into Monday. I'm smiling because I think it's funny in a way, because even though this is P. Diddy and he's a famous guy and this is, the trial of the century at the moment, these things, these scheduling things happen in all cases. Judges get very frustrated. Witnesses get frustrated routinely when things don't go their way, when schedules are longer than expected. The judge also wants to keep the schedule tight for the jury's purpose. I assume that the tightness, though, is because Cassie is pregnant. They don't want to overwhelm her. They don't want a medical situation. They want to make sure that she's okay. But you are correct. Both sides have an opportunity and must have an opportunity, especially Diddy's team, to confront his accuser.
And Serena, real quick follow-up on that. A part of me wonders, while they had to have her testify first, she's the star witness of the case.
All right. So she says, when you put drugs, that's trapping them. All right. All right. So you got to remind me of the situation where Diddy put drugs in Cassie and he locked her up in a cell or something like that. I haven't heard that yet. My understanding that they're both taking drugs. He wanted her to do some drugs and she decided to say, yes, I want to do the drugs. I haven't read that Diddy forced her to do the drugs. I haven't read that Diddy put the pop out to her head and say, take these motherfucking drugs. Okay, she wanted to indulge some stuff she did not want to, but I guess she felt pressure and she wanted to please him. So she did it out of the fact of pleasing him because she's weak-minded and she's easy to be manipulated and she likes to please. But that is not someone forcing. That is something that a person want to do stuff because they want to please someone, even if they don't want to do it. It's a lot of people that got that. So, numbing trauma, they start with ripping your soul, drugging you. You think you can't leave. Cassie was young. It's a lot of people, young people that do drugs. I mean, it's people that are doing drugs that's under the age of 18. So to say that, she was so young and she was on drugs and she didn't know what she was doing. These young kids are doing drugs and they know exactly what they're doing. They out here robbing and stealing. They're organizing crime at a young age and doing drugs. So they don't know what they're doing either. Huh? Which one is it? Which one is it? Okay. But let's go on. All right, so let me see some of this. I'm going to go to another video.
And more of Cassandra Ventura's text messages are being read, which would seem to suggest she wanted to participate or was willing to participate in the freak-offs. And if that's the case, again, you could have somebody who 99% of the time will agree to sexual intercourse. The one time they say no and it's imposed against them and they're sexually assaulted, that's sexual assault. That's it. The defense is focusing a lot on her being a willing participant, either as a form to, strike at her credibility or to say, she was a part of this. How effective is this?
It could be effective, right?
All right. So they say you are looking at it at an older's point of view. When you're 19, your mindset is different. You're right. 19 is different. And like I said, I have a 19-year-old sister and she gets grossed out by older men in their 30s hitting on her. So what do you say to that? All 19-year-olds are different. So maybe when you're 19, you would eat boo-boo, for a man that has $1 million. But when I was 19, I would never eat no boo-boo for a man for $1 million. And I want to know, you guys out there, when you were 19, would you eat another man's boo-boo If he offered you $1 million to eat that boo boo, would you sell your soul to the highest bidder for fame and money? Would you sell your soul? Press 1 if you had sold your soul at the age of 19. Press 20 if hell no, at the age of 19, you knew somewhat of who you are and you did have some standards and morals about yourself. All right. So let's continue to go.
These text messages definitely show kind of this eagerness to participate, the desire.
Oh, Naomi said she'll probably eat some boo boo, girl. You nasty. Y'all better hide the silverware. She over here eating shit. Okay. Okay. Kia, you eating boo boo? That's what y'all doing. That's what these girls are doing, eating boo boo. And the young girls are eating boo boo. Okay. They got boo boo all on their face. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So save it for someone else, because every 19-year-old is not that. Those are the 19-year-olds that are most likely are prostitutes, or they worship money, fame. That's what they glorify. Every 19-year-old does not glorify money. Every 19-year-old girl does not glorify materialistic. The devil is a lie. All right. No, she was trapped. She wasn't trapped, and she's willing. Went back for money each time. Yes, she had a lifestyle. You think a little shit is gonna stop her from getting that Gucci purse? Hell no. Ain't nobody gotta know about it anyway. Hell, she'll deal with it. Okay. She wanted the likes, the action, Hollywood, and on top of that, knowing that she's infected, she will go off and mess with other men. She's out here dating other men that she probably really like while having a sugar daddy, a pimp, because at this, Diddy was a sugar daddy / pimp. A sugar daddy. That's what it is giving a sugar daddy. It's giving an open sugar daddy relationship, and the sugar daddy is violent. You got sugar daddies that's violent, okay? That's what it's giving. Okay? But the 19-year-old girl with Shannon Sharp, y'all call a child. What the fuck? She know what she doing too. Okay? She know what she doing too, Trinity. You know it. She's the only fan girl, Trinity. Shit, you know what that's about. You know what that's about, Trinity. Shit. She was infected. Yeah, she had all bumps. She said she done contacted a lot of bumps because she was doing it raw. She signed, man, you can't make me have sex raw with an infected person. Hello, that is a death sentence. You sleeping with prostitutes, and you know these prostitutes are nasty as fuck. These prostitutes, male escorts, whatever you want to call them, they nasty. They doing a whole bunch of stuff with men and women. Whoever got the money, they doing it. And you gonna do a raw with them? But that's what she did. Okay? And they loved it. She said antibiotics stopped working. Damn. You gotta stop playing with Satan. Stop playing on Satan's program. Whew. A DL gay sugar daddy at that. He literally paid her $22 million just to come off on a man's nuts, and knew all his money and fame, he would have loved daddies by himself along with you. Well, he should have just been gay. I mean, Diddy would have been better off being a homosexual. Wouldn't you agree? Press 7 if you feel like Diddy would have been better off being a homosexual. Diddy, go put a wig on, okay? And live your best life. Go join RuPaul. Go join RuPaul, dog. Hell, you wouldn't be going through all this shit if you were just gay, If you were just being with other men, cut that bitch out. You know what I mean? You could have saved a whole bunch of money if your ass was just gay. God damn. Y'all going through so much shit. But I understand why you gotta hide, because Trump, he's about to comfort homosexuals, so they all gonna have to run their asses in the closet like roaches. When you turn on the light, they scattering. Okay, hell yeah. So, but he should have came out when the time was to come out. I mean, nowadays it may not be the time to come out the closet because they about to be real strict on homosexuals in America. But
to be in his circle, to desire to be loved by him. And so, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, those text messages I found were to be pretty damning and to show that she wanted to be in that situation. They do have evidence of that. Now, again, I go back to this video. The video is just so helpful to show that.
all right. So she says it's funny how people can speak of the industry, but not in it. What do you mean by that? We can speak of the industry because some of us are in it. Some of us have been in it and we see it. I mean, we see what they got going on. They don't hide it. They flaunt it. They want us to know what they got going on. Ooh, I got a taste for a tuna melt. Okay. How could you understand, Okay. Well, how could you understand? Well, maybe it's not meant for everybody to understand. I don't know what you mean by that. It says Diddy has hurt so many people, and it's about time he faces accountability. Yes, I do believe that he hurt so many people. Nobody is denying that he hurts so many people. Nobody is denying that he's gay. Nobody is denying that he's a monster. But what we are saying that Cassie was not innocent. What part don't you get by that? Okay? She cannot be all innocent and he can still be a monster and he have hurt different people. Okay. All right.
At some point, she changed her mind. If she did, in fact, originally want to be a part of the freakouts, at some point later on down the road, she did not. And exactly what you said is true. If you agree to have consensual sex 99 times and then the 100th time you say no, it is rape. If you
Right.
are, so I do agree. The text messages are damning, but then again, she could have watched.
So did you hear that? She had sex with him 100 times willingly. So can you please cut the bullshit? She was forced. They just said she wanted to do it 100 times, but the one time she said no. Okay. The one time she said no, and it is a crime if he took it, just like Shannon Sharp if he took it, you know what I mean? Ooh, I tell y'all, yeah. Oh, these men. I tell you, better get somebody that's obedient. And that would say yes every time. I don't know what else to tell you. Okay. She said no one time, and it's a wrap. But they said she did it 100 times willingly. So that don't sound trap. Doing it 100 times, he know how to pick them. Do you really think Diddy would have picked a nun? Press 1 if you feel like Diddy would have picked a nun to be freaked off. Diddy picked a freaky girl that was into that freaky shit, that was willing to be in that freaky shit so he can have a good experience. He's not going to pick an innocent nun or a girl that don't know nothing and can't have sexuality. Cassie was all about shaking her hips and being sexual, So it wasn't like she was not that, so modest and scared and she got a nun and she like, please don't make me suck it. I don't want to suck it no more. Open her mouth like, That's how y'all paid it. Like, she just, okay. Honey, she performed. And that's why Diddy kept on getting her again, because she performed so well. And she ain't want nobody to take that spot. Okay? Shit. Y'all paid it. Like, she half-assed not opening her mouth, and Diddy gonna pop her upside the head, suck that dick, bitch. You know what I mean? And she's okay. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. She was willing to do it 100 times. Maybe this one time she ain't want to do it no more. Maybe she found somebody that she really liked. And it's hard to do that stuff. I would think if you got somebody else on the side that you really, really like, you don't probably want to do that shit no more. And that probably pissed Diddy off because it's like I bought you. You sold your soul to me, Cassie. You sold your soul. You told me I could have you, so you mine now. That's what it sounded like it went. Okay, but let's keep on going.
Up. She was a young girl. She could have taken a look around and realized, like, hey, this is really uncomfortable for me. This is not something I want to be a part of. And I'm putting my foot down now. And the second she put her foot down, that's when it becomes non-consensual.
All right, they said unfortunately for her, she loved that fool. I don't think she loved him. She loved the money. She loved the power. She loved Hollywood. She didn't love Diddy. Do you really think if Diddy didn't have money that she would love him? She loved the money that Diddy provided. She loved the access that Diddy provided. She didn't love him. She was grossed out by him. She was disgusted by him, but she didn't love him. Y'all throw that love around so much. So much. If Diddy was broken poor, if Diddy was a homeless, do you think that she was gonna do all this shit for a homeless bum? Huh? Huh? That's living on the street? Press 1 if she would have did this for a homeless bum version of Diddy. Press 9, hell no, she is not doing this for a homeless version of Diddy. No, 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 no. She was not in love with no Diddy. She don't give a damn about Diddy. It was about what he can provide for her. Okay. Am I mad? No, I'm not. I'm not mad that she got with him because what he provide for her. What I'm mad is, or I'm not even mad, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do nothing I don't want to do. You can't pay me to do anything I don't want to do, and I'm not going to do it just to please you. Fuck out of here, okay? No, 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 no. Mm-mm. And another thing is, I gotta really like you. If I don't like you, I don't care how much money you got, you can't offer me a cigarette. I refuse to be around somebody I despise, I don't like, just for the sake of money. I deserve. I'm gonna have to like you to accept shit. If you give me something, if I accept it, I like you. If you give me something and I don't accept it, I don't like you like that. Okay? Because I'm not into the business of misleading people on. When you accept stuff from people, it misleads them on. They think that they have a chance. I don't want you to get it confused. I want to let you know you never have a chance with me, and it's not gonna happen. Okay, so you can go off to find something else. Don't bark up this tree. Okay, I don't want no problems. I don't like drama. So, in order for me to prevent myself from getting in drama, I prevent certain things from happening. Okay? And it's just that simple. All right.
Serena, we have a super chat question. Thank you so much for your support. Captain and Hard, this is a question. Do you think the defense will show abuse from Cassie to Diddy? I've seen interviews from old bodyguards that sometimes she would start fights. It's an interesting question because although a very different case, it was a civil case. Why did...
All right. Why do you think people think that Cassie is lying? Because she lied to be with Diddy. She said a lot of stuff she did not want to do. And I guess she had to lie about it. So if you lied then, who's to say you're not lying now? We all know secretly, maybe not secretly, that the higher ups do using Cassie to take Diddy down. We know Cassie just wanted the money. She did not want to go on trial. She didn't want to do this, but she was forced to do it because they want to take Diddy down. So who's to say the higher ups is not manipulating her to say, hey, you have to put 50 on 10 in order to really make this go well so we can destroy Diddy. She got what she wanted. Now she has to do what the higher ups want her to do. So that could be a factor too. If you lied before, you easily be manipulated. Who's to say you're not being lied and you're easily manipulated now? And besides that, you know, the Me Too movement is possibly dying. People see people lying. People feel like she's from the stories. When they hear the stories about how she came back all those years, she had her own place. She was dating multiple different guys. She was having fun. During the time she was with Diddy, she just didn't like certain situations. And that was that. So, you know, you know. Uh-huh. Yep, Cassie was not forced to do this. Uh-huh. All right, well, that's all the time I have for today. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe here at the Messy Sweet Spot. Later on, I will be going on tonight or later on today to talk about the Haley and DDG situation. More situation is coming up for that. I just want to say thank you all for the patience that you guys have with me, and thank you for the likes and the shares, and I really appreciate that, and please keep them coming, and I'll see you guys next time here at the Messy Sweet Spot. Bye.